is 9:45 on a Saturday evening. Not sure how many people will show up tonight. Anyway, I was going to post something to my Instagram, but never mind. I do realize that I've pissed a few people off in the last couple days. I will say that I've been feeling quite salty, and it is within my nature that come after me, I come back. So, something that I deal with, and something that I slept up on this week. So, until I can adjust and get back out of feeling super salty, if I'm watching somebody's live, I'll be doing it up on my TV so that if I really have the urge to make a comment, I have to think about it because I have to get on my phone first. So, um, that being said, it is what it is. I'm human. Um, and maybe the people that are pissed off at me need to stop and think about the double standard that they're now holding me to. Because other people have lost their shit and not, I don't know, have been readily accepted. So, and if I compare what I have said to the things that I've seen and read and heard for myself, yeah. Yeah. And this is me. I come on here raw, real. I don't have to come in here with filters. I don't have to come in here with makeup on. I don't have to come in here looking all pretty for the internet, thinking that I'm going to present something that I'm not. If you don't like it, too bad. This is me. Hey, Sissy, how are you? Did you have a better day today? Yeah, I own it. I said it. Was it bitchy? Yeah. Did I say some things that I'm like, oh shit, I shouldn't have said that? Absolutely. It's more than I can say for a lot of other people that I've seen floating around throwing shit and then holding their hands behind their back and pretending they never said it. So, if you want to make a jab at the way I look, just says a whole hell of a lot about your character. And yes, I did say something tonight that the comment was displayed. The chat that I was in appreciated it, and the person it was directed to got offended by it, which I absolutely understand. Um, and if you bothered to go a couple comments down, you will see that I acknowledged right away that shit, that was not, you know. And then I said at that point that I was getting off my phone so that I was not tempted to make any more comments like that. But you want to see the one bad thing I said and not anything that came after that. And again, that's on you. Yeah, I've been pretty tired today. Didn't sleep real well last night, but I went to bed with a headache still. Woke up with another headache. I just had to think first. I was like, wait, did I take my meds? Yeah. How are the kiddos? Yeah, I guess, and I will say too that I'm kind of glad that the 16 minutes of silence on my video that I did um, when I didn't realize that I was silent. I'm glad it was that way because it's probably one of the videos that I would take down in embarrassment at the things that I actually said. So, divine intervention, I guess. Aw, still up. Well, it is only 10 o'clock. It's not super unusual for her to be awake this late. Exactly. Fate works in funny ways. That's kind of the way I've looked at it back. I'm like, yeah, I'm glad, in hindsight, like I said, that it was silent during that because I was definitely very angry. And so I know there were things that I said that I would have regretted um, having it be out there. And because I'm not the type of person to not sit in my shit, I would have left it up and I would have sat in it and I would have had a really hard time doing that. Okay, so she has a concrete bedtime. That's good. Have you guys started cooling down her room at all to see if that helps? Dancing skeleton scratching her wind. Well, the wind has been crazy. We actually had a fatality due to the wind. Our first casualty. The wind blew one of the playhouse doors off its hinges, like ripped the screws out. So we'll have to figure out how and if we can fix it. But I don't know. Yeah, I hear the weather's pretty crazy, like, everywhere. I was talking to lots of people last night that were having blackouts, flickering. We had a lot of flickering lights last night. Yeah, ripped the flagpole straight off the house. Dang. Yeah, it was pretty bad here last night. And they said it was, the lights kept flickering. Um, your dad got off of the PS4 because, since it's attached to a hard drive, he didn't want to like lose power and, fry the hard drive. I was like, I had you know, the flashlight and stuff ready just in case we lost power last night, but it didn't happen. It just flickered most of the night and rained most of today. Well, hello to whoever is hanging out in the bushes. You're welcome to come into the comments. And you're welcome if you want. Just kind of having an open chat for Saturday night. No real topic. Like I said, I know that like I said, the weather's been bad everywhere. Not even gonna scroll my banner tonight. Ugh. Yeah, Lainey, I saw you say that in the chat the other day that, or yesterday I think it was, you'd had a migraine. I used to have migraines all the time when I was a teenager, and it usually came with, the monthly hormonal stuff. Um, I don't know. I haven't had headaches in a long time, but I said I woke up with a headache yesterday, did over the counter, Tylenol, Advil, nothing really. I mean, it just kind of took the edge off, but never really took the headache away. Woke up again this morning with a headache. I'm just like, ugh, what is so? I don't know if it's hormones again or what the deal is. So, what do you do for your migraines, Lainey? Weather. Well, yeah, I mean, with the wind that we've been having too, I'm sure some of the headache for me is allergies, being congested and stuff. Did I ever tell you, Lainey, that I like your little ghost next to your name? I see it all the time, and he always makes me chuckle. And I agree. Someone did piss off Mother Nature. Either that, or she's off her lithium. I'm not sure which. Yeah, Mother Nature is very bipolar, especially in Washington. Um, but yeah, when she goes off her meds, our weather goes really stupid. Oh, okay. So you're like on a daily regimen. That's funny. I was sitting there thinking, did I take my meds? Did I take my meds? All I really had to do was wait for a couple more minutes. My answer would have arrived in the form of fluffy eyeballs. So what are you up to tonight, Lainey, besides nursing a migraine? Oh, okay. Maintenance meds. I was like, what do they call that when you take daily? That would be what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to take my meds every night, and I forget all the time. Um, it's ridiculously stupid because I have an alarm set on my phone. My meds are right there, right where within reach, and it probably 4 out of 7 days a week. My alarm will go off, turn the alarm off, and forget all about taking my meds. I do it. It's horrible. Ooh, Keith Urban, how fun! Was he as good in concert as he is like? I mean, I know usually live music. I mean, yeah, live music is different than what we hear, on radios and CDs and stuff. But was he good in concert? One year anniversary. That's cool. Hopefully, dinner was good too. Is it Keith Urban every year, or is it like an event you go to every year so that the talent, the talent rotates? The only concert I've been to, I don't necessarily, I mean, it was at a county fair, so does it really count as a concert? Uh, but it was Charlie Daniels back when I was in high school. He was pretty old then, so I think he only did like, I don't know, one or two songs on stage, and the rest of the band um, did their thing. Mm, lucky. And dang, main floor, good seats too. That damn COVID. No, Bret Michaels did come to our fair twice, but I mean, I never really I didn't watch the concert. Um, at that point, we were still pretty heavy in the rodeo, so we kind of heard it, um, from the rodeo stands. Um, so it might be 12. um, I don't believe Charlie Daniels has ever come to our fair, and it was Luke Bryant. Um, the first year we stayed at the fair, the first year that we camped, we ended up with our trailer being parked right behind the main stage, so we got to hear the concert from behind them. So that was pretty cool. Wonder I wonder if Vocal Trash is still around. Yeah, and I don't know if Trick Pony counts as a concert. I mean, it was in a bar. Well, like I said, I don't know if it counts any more than seeing them at a county fair does. Forgot what I was going to look up. I'm like, Vocal Trash. Let's see if they're still around. (2021) schedule. So it doesn't look like they have had any concerts in 2022. Backstage Pass newsletter. That's weird. It doesn't even look like. Unless the one tenor guy lost a lot of weight. Because in this tiny little picture, it kind of looks like him. Oops, I don't want to play the video. Backtrack that. I didn't want to play the video. Let's see if I can find one of just the. Whoops, hit my light. Of just the band. Oh shit, can't share the screen because I forgot that I'm on Firefox and it doesn't let me do that. Bummer. Because I could not for the life of me get Chrome to load. You're old as dirt. I'm 51, so if you're old as dirt, so am I. But I'm always of the frame of mind that, you're only as old as you feel. And unfortunately, most days I feel like I'm 150. I haven't been to a lot of concerts. Chevelle, yeah, soft. When he smell his dreams, I love it. That's funny. Oh, okay. Your son listens to Chevelle. Awesome. Well, and Lainey, if you and I are around the same age, I'm going to guess that your son is probably roughly around the same age as my kids. So that would make sense. Looks like we got a couple other people hanging out the bushes. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Just kind of having a boring night, Saturday night chit chat. Not really talking about any topic in particular, just kind of hanging out. You're welcome to come join us in chat. Or you can come join me on panel if you want. I'm cool. Open with that. Yeah. Yep. I'm a grandma. Hey, Miss Mickey. Yes, because, Mini Maker there is my daughter, and she has my only grandchild. Who you got to see if you watched my video on the Airbnb or on the Kelsey Creek Park and Farm. You got to see got to see my little firecracker of a granddaughter. I'm not a grandma until 60. But I am 51 and I am a grandma. I've been a grandma for 4 years. So, and I own it. I love it. Darth Maul. Did she change my name? I mean, I'm not a Star Wars fan. Like I said the other day, I was Aunt Yoda for a while. So if I end up being Darth Maul, so be it. But yeah, and I think back to like when I was in my teens and stuff, thinking about what really constituted old age. And I would definitely say in my teens, I would have said, well, if you're pushing 60, you're pretty dang old. Well, now that I'm here, I'm like, 50's not so old. I will say, with the exception of um, the last 4 or 5 days, I actually act my age. So, been a grandma for 9 years. Okay. 9 years. Wow. One grandson, one granddaughter. I have the granddaughter you saw in the video, and then she has an 8-year old half sister that is also my granddaughter. So, see, and I agree with that, Miss Mickey. That's what I was saying. I've always kind of prescribed, whichever, to the ideology that you're only as young as you feel, or you're only as old as you feel. But as my body continues to like break down and create more havoc for me, it's like I start feeling older and older and older as the days go by. And there's some days I'm like, holy crap, I feel like I said, I feel like I'm 150. Exactly. And until you get there, it's like you think it's old until you're there, and then it's like, oh, I kind of had that twisted. Yeah. Well, my daughter used to tell me all the time, that 24. You're 24. What are you talking about? And I'm like, okay, now that you're 25, how are you going to keep telling people that your mom is only 24? That math doesn't really work. So now I don't know. I don't know how old I am anymore. And I do feel like it is just an age. It's a number. I don't celebrate my birthday typically. If it wasn't for the fact that my birthday happens right in the middle of fair every year, to be honest, I would probably forget that it was even happening. Um, and oh crap! See, and just realized that because I'm not working, it didn't occur to me that my drug and alcohol license is expired, which sucks because now I'm gonna have to pay extra to get it reinstated because I'm paying late. So instead of it being $320, it'll be $395 to get it reinstated. That sucks. I mean, not like I had money this year to do it anyway. So, yep. My standard answer when people tell me, how are you today or how's it going today? And I'm like, well, I woke up on this side of the dirt. So, all things considered, I am Lainey. I've been since I was licensed or I graduated in 2007 and got my license in 2009. But I'm currently working on this mess of state disability because due to all the medical stuff, I actually quit my job in May. But we'll see. I haven't checked my application yet. Last time I looked, it said it was 8%, and they were still estimating it to be about 6 months in processing. And then on Friday, I got this packet of papers. See, I still have this one to fill out, and it makes no sense to me because it's all the same questions that they asked me when I did the hour and 45-minute long online application. I'm like, so why do I have to answer it all now on paper? It makes It's government. That's the answer to that. Hey, you know what? Nursing is a very noble profession too, and I think um, in a lot of ways, at least from an emotional and a mental standpoint, um, very similar. With the compassion fatigue, especially, but the burnout rates and all of that. I mean, we in our field we go through the same thing, just like in the nursing does. My best friend is an RN, and she's currently in her master's program. So Um, it depends on the situation. I mean, if I'm face to face with the person, usually yes. Um, Seeing somebody on a video screen, like if they're actually showing themselves, and I'm able to watch, the facial expressions, the eye movements, that kind of stuff, I can usually kind of gauge whether there's something involved in that. Um, but behind a bouncing bubble or behind an avatar, I mean, no. Yeah, it's crazy. And like I said, I mean, it's all the same questions. I spent an hour and 45 minutes doing the online application. And I get this paperwork in the mail, and now I have to handwrite all the same answers. And I'm like, part of the reason I'm doing this is because my hands go numb when I use them. I have to try to write out this freaking application. It's like, okay, makes no sense to me at all. But, welcome to government chaos, right? Yes, you need to get back into your classes. Did you ever touch bases with Kay about who your counselor and stuff is? Like you were supposed to? The weekends drive me absolutely crazy with the husband home. I'm like, maybe I'll get a weekend job. Go to work on Saturdays and Sundays. Well, I think that's going to make it very difficult for you to get back into your classes if you are not getting in touch with your guidance counselor. It kind of, I don't know. I mean, I know why I've felt really salty. Um, but it took me, again, it took me a few days to figure out why I was feeling a different kind of way too. And I can't even really identify what it is. But with Code running his fundraiser for Christmas, it like dawned on me that this is going to be the first year that I can't adopt a family for Christmas. Well, yeah. I mean, if you have the ability to just register for classes, you know which ones you need to take, just do it. And if they have a problem with it, they'll contact you, right? So as I was processing the fact that I can't adopt a family for Christmas this year, it dawned on me that, oh shit, that means that come, the first of the year, I usually do um, a big donation to our men and women shelter, and I do $250 worth of supplies, toiletries and socks and toys and shelf stable snacks and that kind of stuff. Do 250 to the men's side and 250 to the women's side. Not going to have the money to do that this year either. So it kind of sucks. Well, it doesn't kind of suck. It sucks a lot. Yeah, I mean, I've adopted a family every year since 2007. No, so I graduated 2007. I think it was when I first started working, when I was doing my student stuff at the CPS office. We started adopting a family every year. So I don't know. I think that's why, yeah, try to get something off the Salvation Army tree. See, yeah, and right now I wouldn't even have the money to do that, unfortunately. Um, but that's a part of why I did the post on the community tab. Um, for me, being able to give back to not just my community, but to give back to the world in general has always been really important for me. So, that's why I put on the community tab and put it out there that, anybody that was interested in having, a memorial journal or, an addiction recovery journal made for them, to let me know. And, we'll figure it out, figure out the favorite colors and all of that. Because that stuff, I'll have supplies here. I mean, it's not going to cost me what it's going to cost me is shipping to send it out to them when they're done. And oh, good Lord. Yeah. It's insane. It's ridiculous. It's an abuse of all of our systems that are completely overrun and overworked and are on the verge of complete burnout as it is. It's ridiculous. Well, yeah, and that's kind of where, this morning I kind of woke up with that in my mind that is something I can do, because other than shipping it off, the cost to, ship it off is all of the expense I'm really going to have. Except, well, I'm going to have to, oops, I'm going to have to buy some more glue though. I am running out of glue. But I have enough supplies here to make a ton of journals. And if I make them all to the size that I did Jen's, I'm looking at a month per journal. So expense wise, that's not bad. And like I was saying in the chat chats is, for me, I feel that's important. Those are important journeys, getting through grief and getting through recovery. And so every little piece that you have that helps move through those journeys, I'm all for. So I've had several people email me or message me and be like, how much would you charge? Nothing. Don't worry about it. Just, let me know your favorites. Let me know, favorite color, favorite animal, favorite flower, food, favorite quotes, and, that kind of stuff. And thank you, Leanie. It was a it was a hobby that I stumbled onto when COVID started, like right around that time. I responded to a marketplace ad for scrapbook paper and stuff, and when I got it all home, I was like, "Holy crap! What am I going to do with all of? What am I going to do with all this paper?" And so I got on YouTube and started looking at scrapbooking, and I'm like, "Yeah, scrapbooking is wasn't really appealing to me, especially this day and age when everything's digital. Um, who really does like true scrapbooking stuff anymore?" Um, so I totally rabbit holed on YouTube and stumbled onto um um I stumbled onto the Paper Outpost. She was actually um the first journal maker that I watched. And from there, of course, and it spanned out from there. And now I have some of my really, really good favorites that I love to watch, that are very creative. Um, I still struggle a little bit just because I have a hard time interpreting sometimes what they're doing into my own materials. Like one person that I watch, I really like um the structure of her journals. I like the different pockets that she does and all the ephemera, and I like all that. But she's super frilly, fluffy, frou pinks, and that's not my thing. So I struggle with going. I like the way that looks, but I want to do it in a different aesthetic, and I have a hard time transitioning that sometimes. Yeah, and see, when I was working, let me grab one real quick. Hold on. Trip it over all my cords. So I made these for my clients. So they're, little pocket size. They fit in a purse really easily. I actually made some smaller ones that were like this, probably about half that size, that could fit like in a pocket of a shirt. But, there's just decorations going through, um, little stampies. That one says, wishing you the best today and always. Um, Only a dreamer makes dreams come true. That one always cracks me up. It was a stamp. It says, it's a upside down turtle. There we go. It says, I'm okay. Really, I am. Trying to see if there was still any memories. Now the other ones that I made, the smaller ones, um, Sam had printed out tags off her Cricut that had printing on them. So I need to learn how to do that still. But they had things like "I'm sober. What's your superpower?" She said she can, so she did. So some positive affirmations that would be tucked into the pockets as well. Yeah, I could definitely do some. Again, I refer to them as naked journals. Um, they're not like this crazy one that I made for myself. That has all the different kinds of papers, and it's not super chaotic. It's more like the one that I made for Jen, where all the pages are the same size. Um, you know, Light decoration so that there's a full blown journaling space. Um, I could definitely make some of those for a shelter. Not plain, but not super, super frilly as well. Yeah, and I think if somebody was to message me and want a journal just for journaling, just like a daily journaler, I would probably do a price. But if it's, like I said, if it's for them to process grief or process recovery, I won't charge for it. Yeah. Hats and scarves. Yeah, see, and that's the thing. I think that, I don't think, I know that where I got all the scrapbook paper from, she was a scrapbooker. And it was actually the guy that I bought it from, it was his mother-in-law's stash. Um, but again, it's like, who scrapbooks anymore? Who has like printed photos? Everything's digital, and you print them as you need them. Gone are the days where you go in and you pay and you get 24 pictures and maybe 10 of them you keep. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm sure there's still a lot of scrapbookers out there, but I know that um, they talk about that on some of the journaling channels that I watch. That's where theirs started. They used to be scrapbookers, and then it kind of died away, um, and led them into something else. Yeah, like analog clocks. I'm contagious. Space theme paper to make my chem panel. Neener, neener. Well, and you finally found some space paper. And it's funny because when it comes to making the journals, I like making the stuff that goes into the journals way more than I like making them themselves. I like making the pockets and the tucks. Um, I can grab just one example. you know, this is all things to make pockets out of, or it is a pocket. It's a decorated pocket, and you just glue it into the book. It's done. Make a tag, and it's. I love making the stuff that goes in the journal. And then after that, I like making the pages to the journal, the signatures, and then at the very end, and the least, the thing I enjoy the least is making the cover. I'm gonna succulent hyperfixation. In fact, if you look on my community tab, Lainey, I shared a link to her recent short. Um, while we were, did you pick that up while we were on the wet side? It was, wasn't it? She bought a book that's like this thick, and it's crocheting plants. Yeah, journaling is always. I'm a big. Obviously, I made a bunch for my clients. Um, I'm a big advocate for journaling because I tell people all the time that you can roll anything around in your head forever. Um, but once you put it out on paper, you have no choice but to address it because now it's in your face. Whereas when it's in your head, it's easy to ignore. Um, but it's also easy to let things build up and build up and build up and build up in your head, and then nothing ever gets resolved. Absolutely. I've been fortunate. I don't have a green thumb. Um, I do have my elephant ear plant that is doing really well. Unfortunately, my animals leave that alone. And I think the only other thing I have is my stack. I have a stacked garden that I use for growing vegetables for my dragons. So I say I got to make dragon salad. I'll be back. So if you ever hear me say that, or sorry I'm late. I was making dragon salad. That's what I was doing. I was feeding my bearded dragons. When we got back, I was trying to remember. I remembered you buying it, but I couldn't remember which side of the state it was on. Yes, Lainey, and they're so cute. They're like, they're not like huge, but I'm sure she could figure out how to make them bigger. Um, No, go check out her short. It's really cute. And her her YouTube is linked there too. So she does the plants. That's kind of her new tangent because she just bought the book a couple days ago. But she does like little birds and turtles and octopus. What else is there? She crochets. Well, you can crochet hair. Oh, you're making a bigger one now? I mean, I can't imagine. There's the normal way of making things bigger. Use thicker yarn, use a bigger hook, and then follow the same pattern. But especially like the droopy one, that like the ivy. I mean, clearly you can make those. I'm going to call them tentacles because I don't know what else they're called. As long as you want. You don't do I could have swore you had a turtle. I could have swore you had turtle. Flies, bees, frogs, birds, pandas. Yeah. And that's funny because I can crochet, and knitting is what did me in. I could not figure out how to knit to save my life. And I was saying, with it's too fiddly. Thank you for that word, Tina Shabby Dabby Doo Dah. It's too fiddly. There's too many moving pieces for my ADHD brain to manage, to deal with trying to keep the tension of the yarn. You got the two different hooks, and it's like knit one, purl one. No, it's no. Yeah, and I don't know where you got that talent because, I assume it's the same talent that where your artistic eye comes from. Is that, yeah, you're able to make up patterns on your own, and I crocheted for 40 years and could not ever just sit down with a hook and yarn and whip something out of my own head. Yeah, I'm trying to talk her into selling her little creatures. Well, right now she's got a kind of a subcontract with the local pet store because she stuffs them with catnip and they sell them as cat toys. Yeah, see, and with crochet, it's one less thing. You have the hook and you have the yarn. That's all you have to worry about, and then the pattern, obviously. And you know, with knitting, it's like two stitches make one, and then it's like half is this and half is that, and with crochet, it's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do 16 double crochets, easy. It is, crocheting was just so much less complicated for me. Um, but I mean, I'm a go big or go home kind of person, and so I would usually find a crochet pattern that was super complicated, and so then you have to like memorize the pattern within the pattern that's within the pattern, and then repeat that 10 times. So my stuff, yeah, there's definitely areas in my life where I make things way more complicated than they need to be. Got something in the works. Ooh. Ooh, what does this button do? Mina never told me what the button on her jacket did, or if it did anything. I just realized that. We stopped at a potty, and the little one had to go pot. She had to go, so I took her jacket off and I hung it up on the hook, on the back of the door. while I was going potty, she was telling me all about her new jacket, and she kept showing, pointing and showing me that there was this button, and it was just like this black, it was a little black button looking thing, um, and on like ski clothes, they have those like battery operated, like heated jackets, and there's usually just a button to push, and it activates it. That's what it reminded me of. Um, But when she goes, "Look, Grandma, it's a button." I went, "Ooh, what does this button do?" And the lady in the stall next to us just starts laughing. And I was like, "Somebody's a Dexter fan." It was pretty funny. Of course, Mina's looking at me like I'm crazy, like, "What do you mean? What does the button do?" So you gotta keep it a secret what you have in the works? Me too. And the two I've got, well, the two plus one that I have, um, are all that I will have. For now, it's a secret. You brat. Yeah, like the cartoon Dexter, right? Dexter's Laboratory. I hope you're not showing her the other Dexter. Mm. You want to keep it a secret, that's fine too. The reboot of the other Dexter was so stupid. Ugh. I mean, I'm glad they did another season to wrap it up and like finish his story because it really pissed me off that he got away. And I'm like, no, that's no. Serial murderers don't get away and go live happily ever after. That's not, no. So I was glad when they did another season to kind of wrap that up and, finish his story. But they kind of left it open for a sequel because the son also has a dark passenger. So there might be a Dexter, another, you know, I don't know. We'll see. Oh, I still kind of miss being able to crochet, but it's all right. Well, I think Yellow Jacket. I have not watched Yellow Jackets. I've seen the previews for the previews for it. My meds are making my tongue heavy. Um, but I've not watched it yet. Um, I struggle because I'm not a big Juliette Lewis fan. Not really. I've not really liked her forever. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I'm not even sure if we still have Showtime, to be honest. And I hardly ever watch TV. In fact, my husband and I were just talking about taking off some of our are movie channels because there's only certain channels that he watches. And I'm like, I've got movies for years on YouTube that I can watch for free. So why are we paying for cable? So we're looking at um, getting rid of some of the channels. Yeah, my cable bill's insane. And I mean, I paid for the premium premiere on YouTube. It's like $13 a month, so I have access to like all the free movies and stuff. Plus I have a Roku TV um, here in my craft room. So I mean, and then of course YouTube on here that I can cast to any of my TVs. So I don't know. I don't see much use in still paying for the cable bill, to be honest. But yeah, saying I don't have Netflix, I steal yours when you're here. We borrowed your Disney Plus a time or two. Oh, holy crap! Where do you live? Mine's not that bad. Sorry, I looked up and I saw my chocolate chip cookie up there. I'm like, oh, take a bite. Dang. So you're kind of. Oh, I don't. Chicago is central, so you're probably somewhere around Jules then. I know it's so funny. I made a comment when Jules was walking on Halloween, was walking to her niece's house to go take her other niece trick or treating. I was like, that is not the South Side Chicago that they show on Shameless. That's not the South Side. That's not the Chicago I know. Yeah, I don't even. I mean, obviously, I know Chicago's big. Hour and 20. Wow, I didn't realize that Illinois was that big. Wow. The metro area population of Chicago in 2022, 8,901,000. 8 million people in one freaking city. That is insane. Holy shit. I didn't realize it was that big. Wow, Chicago is the most populous city in the US state of Illinois, so it's the biggest city in Illinois and the third largest city in the United States after New York and LA. Dang. I had no idea. I had no idea that Chicago was that big. Yeah, Shameless is in the ghetto. It's the South Side. South Side, y'all. That is crazy. Yeah. I'm shocked. I'm in shock. That is insane. 50-mile radius around downtown Chicago. Wow. Southside bitches. Okay, so Laney's down in the Shameless area. Yeah, me too. I always look for that bridge, the overpass. Me too. It's kind of and who knows? That may not even be in Chicago. When you think about the reality of that, when they're filming something, you know, that area may not even be Southside Chicago for all we know. Yeah, exactly. I said I'm floored. I had no idea that Chicago was that big. Yeah, expensive. $300 a month for freaking internet. Like, I would have turned it off too, or for cable. I would have turned it off too. I don't blame you. I think ours is like 136 or something like that, but it's our internet and our cable put together, and because it's both through the same company. She jumps the fence and just decks that guy right in the face. I'm just kind of having a flashback to like one of the last episodes of Fiona. When they had the big the big rumble in the street. Yeah. I mean, I've lived in California twice. I grew up there, and then I moved away when I graduated high school, moved to Guam, got married to somebody in the military, and then ended up right back in my hometown. So after we went through, basic training and all of that, we did a short stint in Illinois, um, and then ended up right back in my hometown at the air base that I was born at. I'm like, how did this just happen? Let me tell you, living there as an adult and having to be responsible for our own expenses in California sucked. Yes, Fiona made the show. No, they just had their final season last year or earlier this year. I don't even remember when it was. Um, and it was stupid. The last season sucked. Yeah, it was. I think you're right. I think it was no, I think it was in 2021. Because it was still at the height of all the COVID um, stuff. Because it was the whole last season was so political, and it was all these marches against you know, the Black Lives Matter. It was about marijuana becoming legal and stores being able to sell marijuana products, and everybody has to be 6 foot away and wearing masks everywhere you go. I mean, the whole last season was so freaking political. It pissed me off because all 9 seasons before that, politics and Shameless, no, not in the same sentence. Yeah, we watched every season, and I forced myself to watch the last one because I can't watch all of them and not watch the last one, so I watched it anyway, and I hated every damn minute of it. And I can give you a spoiler to the final finale if you really want me to. Yeah, I know when Fiona left, you're like, peace, not doing this no more. I hear ya. Yeah, and that was the thing. I was like, what the hell? Go ahead and spoil it. So, oh yeah, it's 11 o'clock at night. Been here for an hour and 10 minutes. It's just been, the two of us for the most part. So, we spoil it for anybody else. Sorry. So, last episode, Kevin and V moved out. They sold the bar and they moved away to go live with, or live near her mom. I can't remember where her mom had moved to, like Philadelphia or something. Carl was still working on the police academy. They kind of left the whole bar thing open as to who it was sold to, because in the previous episodes, Carl was talking to somebody about turning it into a cop bar, but they kind of left that open. All it said was the bar had been sold, but they didn't say to who. There may or may not be a child for Carl. He had a girlfriend, and she essentially R'd him. And then several episodes later, she was working as a like a meter. No, he was working as a meter maid. Sorry, and he was using his power to get back at the rich people that were down on the south side, showing off their wealth and their money. And so he pulled this car and was going to write a ticket, and it turned out it was this girl, and she was pregnant. Well, they never clarified whether that was Carl's baby or not. They never addressed it. Debbie was hooked up with a girl who 2 episodes earlier had used her as a shield while she was running from a cop. And this chick had pulled a gun and put it to Franny's head in order to get Debbie to cooperate. And then 2 episodes later, they're together. Mickey and Ian were married. And living in a high-rise townhouse against Mickey's best wishes. Ian signed the lease without his permission. Fiona never came back after she left. She did not even for the wedding. When Mickey and Ian got married, nothing. When Lip had a baby, got married and had a baby, no Fiona. Lip hooked up with Tammy, who was his sponsor's sister-in-law, had a baby, got sober, and was doing really, really well. But again, they left that open. There was a possibility that she was pregnant again. They didn't say. It was one of those, I'm late, and then nothing. I agree. That was the one thing that pissed me off. It's like, I get that she parted on not really good terms with the show, but the least they could have done, and Emmy Rossum, I would have been pissed if they'd have brought somebody back as Fiona that wasn't Emmy, but it would have been better than just ignoring the fact that this sister that raised these kids their whole lives didn't even show up for a wedding. Didn't even show up in town when her brother had a kid, and has never met can't remember if it was a boy or a girl. I think it was a boy. And I'm like, I would have rather have brought in a different actress to play Fiona than to not have Fiona, the character, come back at all. So it really pissed me off. So who am I missing besides Frank? Frank lost his shit when Monica overdosed and died. After he remarried her the next day. They remarried, partied up, and she died in her sleep. He lost his crap. Yeah. So am I missing anybody besides Frank? See, and I can never get into American Horror Story. Yeah, cheap. Exactly, because they kind of left it open for each person or each couple to have a spin-off show other than Frank. Frank's time is done. Yeah, and Jimmy Steve, that was, I don't even remember what season that was in. Okay, now Frank. Here's the part that pissed me off the most about how they ended this show. How many times did Frank overdose on heroin? He had a bad liver from all the alcohol. He was using meth. How many times did he almost die using meth? All the bad things he did to human beings. Oh, I forgot about the little brother. Oh, he was always kind of a side plot anyway. But what was his name? Oh my lord, the one that ended up in the hospital after getting into the coke. He went off to a preppy school, and is all in his Native American power. He was educated by Veronica during the Black Lives Matter movement on his culture, which is great since he was, being raised in a white family. Liam, thank you. So Veronica really helped him kind of get in touch with the African American culture, and he kind of thrived in that. But back to Frank, all the bad shit that he did, all the scamming, all the stealing, all the drugs, everything that he did. He died of COVID. So, Ken, here we are talking political. He died of COVID. He ended up in the hospital, and I'm sitting there going, that is not even how it would work. They had him like in an open area of the hospital with somebody in the in like an open bay with COVID. They didn't mask him up or nothing, and I'm like, that's not how that would have worked. But he died of COVID. You ready for this, Lainey? The last scene with Frank, he's sitting on a bar stool in the Alibi with a beer in his hand, and he ascends to heaven. Heaven. Of all, really? I mean, should they have shown him like going to the devil? No. But really? Yeah. All the times he overdosed. All the time. I mean, he was hit by a freaking bus. And he dies from COVID and goes to heaven. Now do you see why I hated the last season? It just every episode just pissed me off more and more and more and more. It just made me so angry. And then to the way they ended it, and that was the end scene. That was how they ended the entire season. Was Frank sitting on a bar stool, ascending to heaven, looking over all of his children with a smile on his face, like he did something good. I was like, what in the ever loving fuck? I was so mad. But yeah, they left everybody's storyline except for Frank's open. And like you were saying, Sam, maybe they, had intended to do spinoffs and they just haven't done it yet. I don't know. I mean, there's been no talk whatsoever, not even hints that there's going to be spinoffs. But there's all these unanswered questions with every single one of them. Do Mickey and Ian stay together? Does Mickey adjust to not being on South Side Chicago and being with somebody that's white collar, blue collar? Always get those mixed up. Ian's a paramedic. I think that's blue collar. But being an upright citizen, not the jackass that accosted the people down at the pool because he was mad and picked up all the lawn chairs and threw them into the pool the night they moved in. Was Tammy pregnant again? Did Lip ever finish college? Did Carl buy the bar? Did he become a full-blown cop? There were so many unanswered questions that, that's the only thing I can think is they had to have planned for there to be a spinoff afterward. They had to have. And that's true too. Of all the names of the cast, yeah, I'm sure William H. Macy had the highest price tag. And if I remember correctly, that's part of why Emmy Rossum left, was over contract negotiations over wages. Weak. I agree. So much potential for how they could have written him out forever. And they have him die peacefully in the hospital of COVID. And they didn't have no respirator. They brought him in because he was unconscious because he had overdosed. He was overdosing. And so he was unconscious. They stopped the overdose and he never woke up. But he had COVID. That was kind of what my memory was. I was thinking that. And if you think about all the characters, she had the biggest role. How many scenes would you see in an episode where she wasn't part of it? So, I personally, I think she deserved more, for sure. And if you didn't know, Lainey, Emmy Rossum sings. She has an absolutely beautiful, soulful, sultry voice. And that's possible, so you look and see if it's going to end up like on Discovery or on Paramount or something like that, to see if it shows up on one of these one of these offshoots. I'm so excited. I think it's either the 13th or the 17th that Yellowstone starts. I'm so looking forward to that. I have not watched Dahmer because I don't have Netflix. I did watch. YouTube has a free movie called My Friend Dahmer that I did watch. But I haven't watched the new series. I'm not sure. Like I didn't even know she sang. How did I stumble across that? Do you remember, Sam, that she sings? I now have her on. I have her on my Spotify. Ooh, my phone's yelling at me to plug it in. On the first season, give it time. I love Yellowstone. I think we're going is season 3 or 4. Gosh, see, and I should know that. No, thank you. Spotify's wanted me to rank them. Like, no thanks. Get past the advertisement here. Use my Netflix. Wow, see, didn't know that. A four-leaf clover, I overlooked before. One leaf is sunshine, the second is rain. Third is the roses that grow in the lane. No need explaining, the one remaining to somebody I adore. I'm looking over the four-leaf clover. Yeah, I got her on my Spotify. Dahmer got put on hold. What? Did you just discover something new too? Oh my gosh, that's funny. Season 5. We're going into season 5 of Yellowstone. And I mean, because we watched all seasons, I'd have to go back and really watch season 1 again. Wonder if anybody would be interested in like covering that. Wonder if there's anybody else that's a Yellowstone fan. That would definitely be something different than Third Shift. Yeah, everybody covers like the drama shows, the Real Housewives, the 90 Day that whole franchise, um, the Real Housewives franchise. Um, I don't know. Oh, to be honest, Lainey, none of them even watched the 90 Day series, and that's the freaking Community. It's the 90 Day Community, and nobody watches 90 Day Fiance. It makes no bloody sense. That was the whole reason I came to that community, was because it was supposed to be the 90 Day Community. They don't. I don't even think Jay White talks about it anymore. I think he's straight up Real Housewives. And I mean, I know I'm getting a lot of flack because when I ended my relationship with Jen, I ventured away. I still subbed to Jules and I still subbed to Muzz. And I would pop back in every now and again. I mean, that's how I ended up with, following Johnny and Code, is I was still talking with Sophie and I was still on her channel. And I started, talking with them and following their channels. And so I was stepping away, like I said, and I would pop in every now and again and see what they were talking about. And then when the whole thing blew up, suddenly I'm right back in the thick of things. But here I'm still trying to break away. I'm sitting here watching my phone light up because now that it's plugged in, all of my true crime channels, a lot of them are night owls or in another part of the country. Um, so there's a whole bunch of lives going on in the crime community that I normally would be watching. Um, I have an alert for a new movie that came out. One of my crime channels is talking about Aaron Carter, who died today. So yeah, I mean, I'm all over the place. People are under this assumption that this is the only place that I'm at, and I'm like, no. Even I can answer that. Well, it's not that I ended that relationship. It's that I'm still here. As all it is, because I'm still supporting Jules, even though I never wasn't. So yeah, and it's funny because when I left that was where I tried to find true crime, and somehow or another I shot. Pew! As Muzz put it, she goes, "You shot right past true crime and ended up in Chroma," and I'm like, "Yeah, just my luck." So I have all these crime channels that I'm subscribed to because I was like, okay, that's where the true crime community was, and now I'm unsubscribing to them, a little bit each day because I'm like, when are you covering true crime? I've now watched 7 streams in a row and it's all bashing somebody else in the true crime committee and nobody's covering crime. Like, what the hell? And it's like, it's weird because I could look in that community and them, rename them as people from this community. Same behaviors, different names. That's why I was saying on a stream one time that it almost feels like we are YouTube's social experiment, and they've planted people with roles. This is your storyline, and you're going to go into this community, and you're going to stay in character, and we're going to watch and see what happens because it's like the same story. It's the same story in the 90-day community. It's the same story in the crime community. It's the same story in the beauty community. It's the same in the cooking. It's crazy. I've gone to the crafting community, and there's all this same drama over there. Slightly different. Like, they're not over in the crafting world. They're not calling CPS on each other, but they're being pretty damn despicable to each other. And I'm like, I don't understand why YouTube is allowing this to happen. Because as a business model, they're screwing themselves. I agree. And like I said, I've stayed quiet, and this week I was feeling very salty, and I've pissed some people off, and I know that. But it is what it is. So what are some of the crime channels that you follow? Maybe are they like real crime channels, or are they Chroma like I keep falling into? You still can't accept church in the crime community. Well, and he hasn't been for probably a month and a half maybe. I don't know what happened. I wasn't following all that, but it seems like he was run out of the crime community for some reason, but I'm not sure what. That's the feeling of that side. That yes, because I'm not in that relationship anymore, I shouldn't be communicating with anybody, especially Jules. Yeah, I mean, and I follow AWP, Chaos Divers. Somebody referred me to a bunch. We were talking about um, diving channels in a chat one night. So there's AWP, Chaos Divers, Adventures with Nug. Who else is on my subscription list? That's dive people. Like I said, I am all over the place. I'm in all kinds of different communities. Exploring with Nug, not adventures with Nug. Adam Brown Adventures. He's another one that dives for vehicles and like cold case vehicles. I also follow some dash cam streams for over the road 18-wheel truck drivers. Follow a couple of them. It's kind of cool to be able to go driving with them as they're around other parts of the country. Well, and really, when you think about it, that's reality. I mean, even in real life, women tend to have a hard time getting along with other women. I mean, I know I usually do. I think the only reason I'm getting along with the women that I am is because it's on the internet. And normally I can sit on my end and scream and yell at my computer and nobody knows what came out of my mouth. But like I said, this week I was attacked on several occasions. I was feeling very salty about it and I was pissed. So I responded. And heaven forbid, I respond because apparently I'm held to a higher standard because I left. Like, whatever. Yeah, you did not spell Murdoch correct, but that's okay. I don't know. Well, so many people covered that one. So I don't know. I don't know which one you'd be talking about. Start telling people I'm a dude. Well, I was sent a screenshot today that that's essentially what was said. So that I look like a dude, and I'm like, okay, whatever. That's what I say. Whatever. It's whatever. Like I said in my community post, if you don't like me, unfucking subscribe. I'm done. I'm over it. Yeah, please send me the channel you were watching. Yeah, on the true crime stuff, I have yet to find one that really. Well, I guess I can't say that. That Kevin Neese guy that I was telling you about, Sam, the retired cop. He seems to do like actual crime stuff. He's still pretty focused on the Kylie Rodney right now. I'm just kind of scrolling through, seeing. Oh, who's that person mini maker that made a cactus? What the heck? Yeah. Tend to Life. What is that? I've never heard of it. This Leave Her Wild is another channel I started following. She goes on a cross-country trek each year. Okay, 10 to Life. I'll have to look that up. Leave Her Wild. They modify, like this last year, they modified a bus into a living space. And she drives from wherever her hometown is. I can't remember where it's at. But there's a big event. Shush. I want to say it's in Colorado, but I can't remember off the top of my head for sure. But it's like a gathering, like a big festival where people that have done these modifications all gather together. So people that have taken school buses or transit buses or cargo vans, whatever, and have not transported, as transported might be. They've turned them into traveling campers, and they go to this event. It's something Palooza. But she drives to it in hers and goes to this, and she films the whole, well, not like 24/7. It's not like an IP2 thing. But she does short videos along her path. And this year she went with her baby. She took her baby with her. So the baby got to experience all of that. And she's actually, I've got to watch. She just dropped a video earlier today, and she's on the road again and stopped in Texas for the day. Unexpectedly stopped in Texas. So I'm wondering if she had some vehicle problems or something. 10 to Life. This is where I end up with all these subscriptions because I just set them. I subscribe to them so that I can get notifications when they go live, so that I can then check them out. Yes, I do have it. I do watch Emily D. Baker. She is awesome. And actually, Emily D. Baker came from JY's channel. That's the first place I'd ever seen her. I'm like, where did you send that to me, Sam? On my phone. Yeah, Emily D. Baker is awesome. And she's so she's well versed in the law. I was like tempted. I was trying to say intelligent, but it's not even that. It's not the word I was trying to go for. I know she was before JY. That's just the first time I'd seen her. He had her up on panel a couple times, and I was like, "Ooh, I like this chick." And so, yeah, I've been watching her since probably the last 8 months or so. And I think I stumbled onto JY in like February, maybe March of this year, something like that. But yeah, I really like her. Like I said, when you're, at least in my experience, watching these true crime channels, there seems to be a lot of yeah, and she's very articulate, and she knows her law. And so I really like her. I'm pretty sure it was JY's panel that I saw her on. I could be wrong. They haven't really stepped outside the YouTube community until like the last. No, I take that back. It wasn't on JY. It was on Up and Adam. Up and Adam always had Emily D. Baker on there. I forgot about Up and Adam. I haven't watched him in so long. He's dropped out of my algorithm, so I don't even get notifications from him anymore. I'm gonna have to watch a couple of videos and get him, get that going again so that I get the notifications. Yeah, Jason has his own channel, so it's really kind of cute. They're not secretive that they're in the same house and up in different bedrooms, doing a live together. It's just kind of funny. Like, why don't you guys just get on camera together? Sorry. I'm sitting there thinking this is really the only community that I've been in since I started using YouTube as entertainment, but I was incorrect. See, now I'm curious about Up and Atom, why I'm not getting notifications. Well, I mean, I'm sure it's because like I said, I haven't watched a video in forever. But I haven't been getting notifications, so I haven't been watching them. It's kind of a double-edged sword there. Oh, how weird. I'm not subscribed anymore. All right, well, we're going to fix that. And so Up and Atom, Sam, he's kind of cool, but he does a lot of, he sticks to Real Housewives, pretty much. But it's not like recaps of the show. It's like dropping the tea on them, and that kind of stuff. So, sorry, I was incorrect. Anthony slammed for new podcast and Ramona weighs in. Huh. That was his last stream. Shush. Shush. So then Jessica Kent, she's the girl that's a former inmate that I've recently started watching. I'm really getting a dig out of her. Getting a kick out of her. She's fun. But at the same time she's very she's open and very honest about her, her time in prison, what got her there. She was actually pregnant in prison at one point, and so she's got a whole video talking about what it's like to give birth, to be pregnant and give birth in prison. But just pretty inspirational for people that have, had to come out of the prison system and try to get back into having a normal life. So maybe watching some 10 to Life, maybe that'll help me go down a different rabbit hole. I know, my poor algorithm too. It's like every time I go to do a search, it's like because of everything, it's like, oh yeah, it's all those same names. I just stumbled onto another channel this morning, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll try to catch your live tonight, and I didn't make it there, so I'll have to watch it on replay. Joanne Cochran, soft white underbelly. Yeah, I do. I have Law and Crime Network. It's actually not on my phone. I have it on my TV. Ooh, is it actually morbid stuff, or is it just what it's called? Morbid, a true crime. Digging through the garbage to find some good channels. Uh-huh. Soft white underbelly. And I know that, as I that's not a crime channel. If it's morbid, I'm in. I know, so I was like, wait, is it really morbid stuff? So when I do soft white underbelly, it gives me soft white underbelly Whitakers, soft white underbelly Appalachia, soft white underbelly. Is that like different Do you know if that's different channels or if it's different videos that it's looking for? Oh, okay. Never mind. Answered my own question. Gang member interview, fentanyl and crack addict interview, man pulls gun. Oh yeah, this looks like it's gonna be. I'm gonna enjoy this channel. Oh, I've seen that little video, Nautica. I've seen her before. Yeah. Collecting paranormal channels, which looks really funny on a business channel. That's funny. So is it just called Morbid? Morbid? Morbid True Crime Podcast. Ta-da! Found it. Oh, and they're broken down into episodes. Fairy Lights, the Halloween Party Murders. And hopefully this will also change my recommendeds. Yeah, my ADD and not being able to focus, usually I'll have, like, if I'm not, obviously, if I'm not on a live where I have to worry about copyright stuff, is I'll have something going on the TV, have something on my phone, and I'm like, I've got all these different things going on. There might be a movie playing on my TV and some true crime podcasts going on my phone. I'm usually all over the place. Anna Uncovered. It's funny, that almost sounds like it would be like an Anna Nicole um, documentary. Of course, they would just call it Anna Uncovered if it was, or they would call it Anna Nicole. Nobody really knows her just by her first name. So Anna Uncovered. Welcome to Anna Uncovered. If you're into all things true crime, then tune in and subscribe. Wow, and the first one is there. The girl that killed her friend to sleep with her boyfriend. I'm gonna have to look and see if there's any updates on the Delphi. I don't think so. So I might take another bite of my cookie. Yeah, me too. And now, have you seen like where they've shown pictures of him and his wife, and there's the sketch of him, the sketch that was distributed is hanging on the wall behind him. One of the other people, again, it's on one of the alerts that I have, was going to be talking about that. And I'm like, one of the questions I put in her comment was, do you think it was the wife that finally turned him in? Sam and I were talking about that when we were on our trip, and I was just like, I can't. How did she not know that was her husband? I don't know. And yeah, I want to know, what's going to come of it. They're still being, and I get it. People are really frustrated because they're wanting information. But working in, working with the legal system as long as I did, I mean, I know the importance of making sure that they have all their ducks in a row before they move. Otherwise, they risk um, not getting, not getting the guilty plea. So it's going to take time, but I don't think it's going to take as long as what we normally see because of how quickly it went from tip to warrant to arrest. As quickly as that went, um, I don't think it's going to take long for him to go to trial and all that, unless he's got a really good lawyer that's going to be working some hell of deals. Exactly, and I can't imagine that it's the first time that he did it. I mean, it was so random. I used to listen to Anthony Greeno, and that was his thing. He covered Delphi daily. He had been on many marches and many walks over the Monon High Bridge. And I'm like, it so sucks that there's finally an arrest and he's in jail. I'm like, oh, he doesn't get to like go onto his channel and be like, finally we have movement in this case after 5 years of dead silence and nothing happening. We finally have movement. And he doesn't get to say that because he's in jail. That's what I like I said, I haven't checked the updates in a couple of days. Is that still speculation, or are they actually, because I kind of have the feeling that that's why they have not like fully charged this Richard Allen guy, is because they're trying to find out who else was involved. Because two different sketches, the two different sketches, one was an old guy, one was a young guy. And when you do, so like Zav Girl, I know she did like a half and half. Um, his real picture with the drawing and then half, and you can see some similarities in the younger photo. I mean, but not as many as in the older photo, the older gentleman photo. So it does make me still think that there was a second person involved, and maybe that's why they're holding off on really moving forward in the charging process of Richard Allen, is trying to get him to talk. Yeah. And I think law enforcement did a great disservice too, because there was more of the recording that they never released until, 6 months ago, 8 months ago, maybe, where they released, a little bit of audio. And then they turn around and said, well, there's still more. Why not release all of the audio, or more of it, to give, some context and some more voice to try to identify. Um, I always got the feeling that maybe her phone was still recording during the murder, and that's why they can't release all of the audio. Are you serious? I missed that part too. So yeah, no, they need to be finding out if he. They need to be investigating other murders. This is too sick for it to have been a first time, in my opinion. Like you're saying up here, he just decides one day to kill two people, two teenagers, two 12-year-old girls. Gotcha. And I obviously we don't need the gory details, but to the best of my knowledge, they haven't even like released whether or not there was any SA involved, or if it was just straight murder. Yeah, and that's why I think that I've always kind of felt that the police department really hampered their own investigation. And I wonder where Keegan Kline fits in all of this. Is he the informant? Is he the second person? What did I read? What? Like I said, I haven't looked at any news reports in the last couple of days. Um, oh, I didn't get a link because I think that's turned off in my settings to not allow URLs. I don't know how to do that. I don't know if I can turn that off while I'm. Let me see. Oh, I think I have to do. I think that's in Studio actually. Oh, duh! I can just ask the question. I'm like typing it in the chat. Um, what's the website that the link is out of, and I'll just look it up. Is that the name of the article? Oh, one of the judges recused himself? Tanya, I'm gonna have to catch up. I'm behind on all of that. Okay, just the titles are interesting. Muffled screams revealed and violent kidnapping caught on an Apple Watch 911 call. Wow. Oh, it's from Washington. Go figure. Go figure. Let's see where in Washington. I don't want to sign up for something to read it. No, thank you. Oh, look, it's even on Reddit. That's crazy. That article has its own subreddit. Telling you, Reddit gets a bad rap, but there's a lot of subreddits on there that are good. Jeez. Yeah, that would be crime. True crime with a lot of crime with a lot of drama with a little bit of true crime. Oh, it's TV, not real life. Yeah, and there's a lot of articles, and like I said, it's even got its own subreddit. I do. I watch the ID channel all the time. I do. I'm in southeastern Washington. So I was like, oh, go figure. Crazy shit happens here all the time. I was trying to find an article that says like actually what part of Washington they're from. Fox News wants me to create an account. I'm like, yeah, now. Yeah, and I want to say it was in Muz's. They were talking about the Reddit and stuff, and I'm like, but it gets a really bad rap because everybody just thinks that Reddit is just that community, and I'm like, Reddit is a huge platform, and if you're only going to the drama part of Reddit, then you're only going to get the drama part of Reddit. I'm in several aphantasia groups on Reddit or threads. I don't even know what you call them. Subreddits. Couple on bearded dragons. It's like it is what Reddit is. What you make it. If you don't like the gunk you're seeing, go somewhere else. I don't want to register just to read the article. Thank you very much. How annoying. So she was just buried. Sounds the call from the Apple Watch actually saved her life. Yeah, I'll have to go look at it later. Like I said, I can't. I know I won't pay for article lacing. Okay, so they're on the wet side, which makes sense. Just because there's not. I mean, there's woods, like north of Spokane. I mean, that's where the Brown family's place is north of Spokane. See, I could have fun covering that show too, but I don't know how much interest would be in that either. I don't know. Maybe I'll put another poll out on my tab. Eyelids are getting heavy. That's all right. Like an hour ago, I was like, well, I'm going to take off. I'm going to go catch up on some of these actual true crime videos that are live right now. But we'll see. It's now midnight, so I don't know. So thanks for chatting with us. Getting me some true crime channels to go follow and start dropping out some more of those my chromas. So give me a call tomorrow, sissy. And hey, have a good night. So peace out, guys. Talk to you later.